let me get on here and I'm just going to say something, all right? I don't typically do football stuff, all right? But I'm just going to say this. And I typically don't do sports. But I am a Denver Broncos fan. So, latest update that I have heard is that Dallas Cowboys are trading for Max Crosby. Okay. And I have told people time and time again, ever since the Broncos came back and scored 33 in a fourth quarter. Yeah, they set a world record for most points in a quarter. Bo Nix had the most touchdowns in one quarter. With that being said, it's almost the end of the season. You have, this is game 8. So the Dallas Cowboys are 3-4-1. All right. Bo Nix came back and straight whooped Dallas. All right. And everybody's hating on Bo Nix, and you got the people that praise Bo Nix. Bo Nix was a game changer for that whole entire offense. So physically think about it, okay? If you're a team and you were in poverty and you haven't made the playoffs since 2015, since Tim Tebow, it's insane. And people are saying the game's rigged. Me personally, everyone has their own opinion. But at this point and at this time, Dak Prescott was on an MVP running season. He was in the list for MVP. Dak Prescott threw two interceptions that game. 2. Not 1, not 0, 2. Bo Nix threw 1 pick in the first quarter. And like I tell everybody, you can't be mad at the Giants for taking that hard loss against Denver. You can't be mad at the Cowboys for taking that loss against Denver. What you need to do is build around that. If you're willing to trade for Max Crosby, like I saw in a post not too long ago, Dallas is trading for Max Crosby just because Michael Parsons parted ways and went over to Green Bay. Yes, Max Crosby can be a game changer. I'm not going to hate on any team just because I'm a Denver fan. All right? But at the end of the day, I'm a diehard Denver fan. But you can't just put the blame on a team for being a fan favorite. Like, let's take this back to when Denver beat the Giants. All right. That was when they did the stuff for Demaryius Thomas because Demaryius Thomas passed away tragically at 33. We scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. That, I believe, is uncalled for, but you came out with the dub. All right. One thing that all these teams have to focus on is watch how many penalties you get, watch how many flags you get caught out with. Make sure to not jump off sides. Bo Nix, and I can say this from experience, Bo Nix has turned a poverty franchise into a possible playoff potential team. Now, going from last year to this year, I see some major changes. The games that get really close, you got to watch doing that. And it's just, it's the fact that we went so many weeks without Dre Greenlaw and everything else. But from my perspective, the Cowboys aren't all too bad. They just need to rebuild that team. If you're willing to trade a third-round pick or whatever for Max Crosby, you better make it worth it. If you have to bench Dak Prescott and start a rookie quarterback, by all means, because you have George Pickens. In my opinion, George Pickens, ever since he got traded to the Cowboys, has been a star receiver. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Javonte Williams. And I've seen how the offense has been using those three players, and it's immaculate. The only issue with that is Dak Prescott was on a roll, and he was on his way to an MVP winning season, but after the Denver game, I don't see that. Denver, after their Giants game, I'm kind of happy that they started spreading the points out within each quarter. Like, they scored 14 in the first, 13 in the second, 3 in the third, and then they scored another 14 in the fourth. And I can say this from experience. You cannot hate on any team that the Broncos have beat. Because, one, Jackson Dart for the Giants, Cam Scatterboo, two amazing players. I don't care what the talk is about Daniel Jones. Yeah, he's on a 7-game win streak. But what did he do for the Giants? Nothing. And I will come out and say that. Daniel Jones could not get the chains moving. Jackson Dart, phenomenal quarterback. Cam Scatterboo, you guys might be, without him till December, but you still got that amazing rookie quarterback. He might be able to make something work. You guys might miss the playoffs, and I mean, don't even get me started on the Jets, okay? Do not get me started on the fucking New York Jets. Because this game kind of, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. This game agitated me, bro. They finally win one game. And people are trying to say it's because of the head coach. There is no way you are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, especially in the situation that you're in. Justin Fields is not it. I don't care what anybody out there says. Like, they were down heavily, and they come back and score 23 points in the fourth quarter. Why couldn't you score in the first quarter? Why couldn't you score more in the third? Just like I said about the Broncos game against the Giants. Yeah, that was a freaking miracle. Okay? But how are you going to sit there and tell me that a 0-7 team managed to beat the Bengals, dude? Like, that is freaking ridiculous. Going into halftime, they were up 24-13. So you're telling me Justin Fields finally got the chains moving after a 7-game losing streak? Oh, man. That's ridiculous. There's no way. Now, let's talk about the Bills, okay? I got a buddy on YouTube. He goes by Jay Reason. Jay Reason is a Bills fan. And one thing I like about the Bills, they got an amazing run game. They have an amazing receiving game. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Bills should have been in the playoffs way farther than where they've been. I think they should have had Super Bowl appearances since Josh Allen came in for that team. It's just it amazes me how the Kansas City Chiefs are a fan favorite team. And yeah, I mean, the Patriots are number one in that division. I'm pretty sure the Steelers are number one in their division. Broncos are obviously number one. And can we just take a minute and speak upon the Colts? How in the world is the Colts going to go 7-1? 7-1. Like, if you look at these scores, it's amazing. Josh Allen played amazing. CJ Stroud played amazing. I can't really say the same for Justin Fields. You're just better off rebuilding that whole team, keeping Breece Hall, etc., etc. Keep your best players, keep your star players, and just rebuild that whole entire franchise. The Bengals, they got a good quarterback if he's healthy. A healthy Joe Burrow is a playoff contending team. I mean, Drake May. I wouldn't say he's been playing amazingly, but he's been playing fair. And that's probably the best I've seen the Patriots play since Tom Brady. The Browns, I'd like to see a switch from, the starting quarterback and Shedeur Sanders. All right. Shedeur is an amazing quarterback. He still hasn't had any reps. So I'm kind of disappointed. Why would you draft two of what could be potentially the best quarterbacks and just start one, dude? Like, you should just sit there and spread it. You know what I'm saying? You should sit there and let both have a fair chance of reps just to see who you can start and which one needs to be second string. Tua, buddy, you gotta go. You suffered a large amount of concussions. You've been on protocol way too much. It's about time to say your goodbyes. I'm not going to disrespect Tua. He does his thing. But there's no reason why your team should be 2-6. Even without Tyreek Hill, you still have Jalen Waddle. You got Devin Achane. You got so many talented players. And you're telling me that your team is 2-6 right now. Come on, dude. It's common sense. Okay? Like this game. I mean, of course you had to see it. Jalen Hurts was obviously going to win. It's Jalen Hurts. Okay? I'm not disrespecting New York Giants. I'm not disrespecting the Giants fans. But I'm going to point out the obvious. Okay? I got to see if I can find... Yeah, right here. Jackson Dart. 193 yards, 1 touchdown, and he went 14 for 24. That's not bad. This man is going to be a game changer for the Giants, just like Cam Skattebo. And if you can keep Malik Neighbors healthy, you would have an amazing offensive line right off the rip. Of course, I could say the same thing with the Eagles. I mean, they're obviously current Super Bowl champions. But it's the fact of the matter that A.J. Brown was out because of a hamstring injury. And it seems like so far this season you had so many players out with either hamstring or season-ending injuries. Okay? So for that fact of the matter, Devontae won't... Listen, I just said the name wrong. My bad. But Devontae Smith, he is a freaking stud of a receiver. He is probably one of the best to ever do it. And everybody sleeps on him way too much. Granted, he had 84 receiving yards. Whoop-dee. But you cannot tell me this man is not getting the chains moving downfield. And I'm not going to discredit A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, off to an amazing start. You just got to keep your players healthy. At what cost is it for you to miss the playoffs because you can't keep your players healthy? Saquon Barkley is a freaking beast on offense. Jalen Hurts, dual threat quarterback. He can run. He can get out of the pocket. But at the same time, even when the Giants lost Cam Skattebo because, he's going to have to undergo surgery. Last time I knew, Skattebo was going in for an immediate surgery. I believe they said the same day, if not the following day. And he's not projected to come back until December. So if Jackson Dart can get something moving on the chains for the offense, that would be amazing. But we'll see how it plays out. The Cowboys and Broncos game, dude. We're going to get into this, all right? And I'm going to speak some factual type stuff. Because I never do football on here, but I'm going to state my opinion. Bo Nix is popping off right now. Within the last 2 games, this man had a total of 8 touchdowns. It's like this man just woke up out of nowhere and he's like, you know what? Let's get the chains going. The Giants game, even though I'm a Denver fan, I felt like we was going to lose. But I just feel like, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a Christian man, all right? But I'm going to state my opinion and make it known. I believe Demaryius Thomas was there that day. even though he's gone, his soul lives on in other people's hearts for the rest of their life. Demaryius Thomas was probably one of the best, if not the best, top 10 receiver before he passed. I mean, the Broncos, I could say a lot about y'all. I've been a fan since I was a kid. I am very, very proud of Bo Nix. Yeah, you might have threw one interception that game, but coming back and throwing 4 touchdowns, that's a game changer. If Denver continues to play like that, I don't see what the issue is. You can't call it that they are favorited as a good team. Yeah, they are an amazing team. Bo Nix could possibly become another John Elway. But I'm hoping Bo Nix does not wait till later down the line to shoot for a Super Bowl. Because he's already made the playoffs. He went 10-7 last year, his rookie season. He's probably on the verge of, I'm probably going to say 11-6, maybe 12-5. Because Houston's not looking all that good. Kansas City's not looking all that good. Sorry, my screen tipped. My bad. But, look at this. By the start of the second, no one cares. But look at this. At the end of the first quarter, they were up 14-3. The Cowboys started coming back. Made it 10-14. Denver proceeded by halftime to go 27-10. And I'm not going to discredit the Cowboys, because I am happy that Javonte Williams went to a team and he's playing good for himself. Denver wasn't able to use Javonte to his full ability because he was always getting injured. But at least this man is making a point. Just like George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. You guys might have lost possibly one of the top 10 defensive ends in the league. You guys might have lost Micah Parsons, but if you are willing to trade up in your draft to pick up Max Crosby, you better hope and pray Max Crosby can work miracles. Max Crosby is a 3-time All-Pro defensive end. If you cannot make that man work magic, what are you doing on the defensive side of things? You are 3-4-1 right now. The team that everybody claims to be America's team doesn't look like America's team right now. They really don't. And that's coming from my standpoint. It's sad that your backup quarterback, Milton, came in and threw a touchdown when Dak Prescott couldn't. At this point, I would bench Dak and start Milton. Because Milton managed to score in 6 plays. I'm not going to discredit Dak Prescott. The man's had some pretty good seasons. But at the same time, this man has also been injured in some of these seasons too. You got to let rookies have a chance to prove their point and see who you want to start. Because Dak Prescott, I'm pretty sure, is pushing maybe his 30s. You only have so much time left before Dak's gone. Okay? Now, I'm not going to discredit Dak at all. I've seen how Dak used to play back when he started. Not that bad. But let's talk about Denver's defense right now, boy. All right. John Franklin Myers. My dude. I had a problem with you at the beginning of the season. You couldn't get nothing going. Because at the beginning of the season, it just seemed like, yo, Denver, you ain't got a chance. And then it kept going from offense being the MVP to defense being the MVP, back to offense, back to defense. It seemed like the offense and defense couldn't click. Troy Franklin, props to you. Court Sut, props to you too. JK, one of the best picks we've ever gotten. And I like how we swap that with Marvin Mims. You know, you start getting the run game going. That's what Denver has to focus on. You can't just send Bo Nix out there and be like, oh, yeah, Sean Payton called. Yeah, we got to throw it. No, you don't have to throw it. Your best option is start the run game process and then smooth your way in and start throwing. For Bo Nix going 247 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and 19 for 29, that's not bad. Like, if we looked at the full box score, one thing I would like to see is Pat Surtain involved more. RJ Harvey. This dude is a freaking stud. Okay? I don't care what anybody out there says. RJ Harvey is an absolute stud for being a rookie. J.K. Dobbins. This man is a beast in the backfield. When you have the run game going, there is no stopping Marvin Mims, RJ Harvey, JK. Just like here, Evan Ingram has been making amazing plays here recently. JK can get the chains moving on offense time to time when he gets past two. Courtland Sutton, amazing. Would I have liked to see more involvement and not so many passes dropped? Yeah. But Troy Franklin seems to be getting the job done. I mean, on the defensive side of things, Alex Singleton is looking amazing. Talanoa Hufanga, looking good. Riley Moss, looking good, but you just got to chill on the freaking flags, dude. Pat Surtain, MVP winning season last year. Proud of him. Defensive Player of the Year. Justin Stranad. This man came clutch against the Giants. Jonathan Cooper, another amazing defensive player. John Franklin Myers, another good player. I would like to see if, like, you know, and I'm not going to say this as in a disrespectful way, but on defensive side of things, I like to see you try to push for more sacks. If you can catch an opening, have your corners, have your people in the back do their thing. All right. But, like, this defense is looking amazing. Nick Bonito, don't even get me started on you, bro. Don't even get me started on you, bro. You're leading, I believe, either sacks or tackles this year, dude. Looking like an absolute stud. And in my honest opinion, I feel like, personally, Bo Nix should be in the MVP talking list. And that's how I feel. This man on offense, he's went 8-1. He had no interceptions against the Giants. He's only threw one pick in the last 2 games. 8 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 6 in the air. I mean, it's common knowledge. And one thing I found wholesome here recently. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, chat. Let's go to the Packers Steelers. I found this game to be wholesome. Just because of the fact that Jordan Love was kind of mentored by Aaron Rodgers. And just seeing how the game played out, it was a good game. But I would have liked to see more from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I will never sleep on him as a quarterback. He's an amazing quarterback. And I love seeing what he can do for a Pittsburgh Steelers team. Just like Jordan Love. Jordan Love is doing amazing for the freaking Green Bay Packers right now. So, if we look at the box score here, all right? Come on, dude. I hate this freaking phone. Yeah. I'm streaming on a phone right now. So I can get me a freaking computer. That's why I don't like using computers, man. They always end up freaking breaking on me. Jordan Love. Looking absolutely phenomenal on the offensive side of the ball. Okay? I love seeing Josh Jacob evolved over the years. But one thing the NFL needs to crack down on is injury, concussion protocol, and keep your players healthy, dude. Especially if you have a player like Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins. Matter of fact, let's add a couple more running backs in this list, all right? So, you got Javonte Williams, looking absolutely amazing, okay? You got Josh Jacobs, you got Saquon Barkley. All right. You had Cam Skattebo in the talk. Bijan Robinson. Can't sleep on that team, man. Because once Bijan gets right down the freaking lane, dude, you're gone. You're done. But it's just, you have all these talented running backs. Just like you have these talented wide receivers. Okay? And so far, I like seeing the name Jackson Smith-Njigba pop up. JSN. Jamar Chase. Course Sut. You got freaking Tyreek would have been in this if he didn't get hurt. But Devontae Williams coming back from a 3-touchdown game, that was looking amazing for fantasy players. I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm starting Jamar Chase. I'm starting Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm starting freaking George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb could be in the talk, but Pickens also has to be involved. Just because when CeeDee was out, George Pickens picked up the slack. DK Metcalf looks pretty dang good. I mean, a healthy Malik Neighbors, I realized the last few seasons this man has not been healthy. And I like seeing talented young players come into the game. Like when my personal favorite team will always be the Broncos. I grew up on the Broncos. I watched the Broncos since I was a kid. Me personally, I think we did amazing picking up Bo Nix. We did amazing picking up R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins. You know, we even added Troy Franklin to that list. Court Sut is amazing as a deep threat. You know, like this man, if he could just catch the ball more, I don't see a problem. AJ Green, one of the top receivers last year. It's just like what's going on? You have all these players out for the entire season. And it's just what can you do? Some of these teams that are like 1-7, 2-6, you guys need to crack down. And in my personal opinion, when week 10 comes around and my team plays the Kansas City Chiefs, the Broncos are not going to sit there and sit back and watch the Chiefs demolish them. No, this is going to be a shootout. Just like I'm not going to discredit the Texans. The Texans just came off one of the pretty good wins, okay? But it's just like most of these players without their star players, they can't get nothing going on. Just like Jaden Daniels, with him being out, it's not looking too promising. And Patrick Mahomes, yes, I'm not a Chiefs fan. I am a Broncos fan. But I will give the Chiefs credit where credit is due. I am disappointed about the Travis Kelce stuff. Because a team that you expect to score way more points hasn't been able to do that. I'm pretty sure the first 3 or 4 games they went 1-3. Okay? Kareem Hunt, not that bad of a player. Travis Kelce, one of the best, if not top tight ends. If he can get the ball more. But you also have to look out for Jake Ferguson. You got to look out for Trey McBride. You got to look out for, if Mark Andrews can be involved in the plays more often and get more yards, he could be like he was in his prime, being a top 10 tight end. It's just, what can you do to change the game around? You feel me? There's not really much you can do or say. But the Chiefs come off with a really good win. So that moves them up 5-3. Could do better on the offensive side of things for Patrick Mahomes. Just the fact that he had 2 picks that game, that's uncalled for. You shouldn't be throwing it if you feel like you can find a gap and run the ball. Travis Kelce with almost 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 receptions. That's freaking amazing. But it's just, what can you do? Like, look, right here, it shows my fantasy stuff, all right? I have Bo Nix starting this week against Houston. You got Josh Jacobs, Javonte Williams, Jamar Chase, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, JSN, Denver's defense, Will Lutz. I would say stuff would have to. And then, like, here's my other fantasy team, all right? I'm going to have to swap quarterbacks. But, I mean, I got a good line going on for me, all right? We got Warren. Just because the Colts are looking absolutely dynamic right now. You got Warren. You got Keenan Allen. You got the Denver defense. I might have to take Gay out and try to pick up another kicker. I still got JSN on this team. I got George Pickens, DeAndre Swift. You got Devin Achane. And if I has been looking absolutely phenomenal this season. And with them playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe this is going to be a good shootout game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are looking amazing. You don't see the Ravens up in the top bracket. Just like the Bengals, you don't see them in the top bracket. The Browns, not top bracket. Now it is time for the Steelers to step up. You have, how many games has it been? 8. You still have 11 games left. Step it up. And with the way this dude is playing me this week, he won't stand a chance with Mason on his team. The only good players this man has is Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson. Stephon Diggs could be good when he's out there. Romeo Doubs, Green Bay's defense, Chris Boswell. Good choice. Good choice. But how do you expect the Denver Broncos to score this week? They're going to whoop possibly the next 2 games before their bye week. Bo Nix is looking incredible. This man is on a path to be a great quarterback. And if I was Denver, I would have signed him for 5 years, not 4. I like how Coach Payton is getting the chains moving. The man looked at the Giants game. He was like 33 points in a quarter. That is uncalled for. Bo Nix came out with a dub both times, looking immaculate. But at the end of the day, you can't just score 33 points in one quarter. That's uncalled for. Yeah, you came out with the dub, but you got to spread the points out in each corner. Quarter. That's why I love watching football. I played football. I know what I'm doing. But if I was in Bo Nix's shoes right now, okay, and I'm going to say this. If I was Bo Nix, and let's say we start off with the ball, right? We get out to like maybe the 25, the 30. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to scan the defense. I'm going to scan that defense. I'm going to look. I'm going to have that play in my mind. And I'm going to be like, okay, let's see if I can find an open target. And another thing that you could also possibly do to catch the defense off guard, pump fake. Pump fake. That is one thing I cannot stress enough. If a quarterback can pump fake it to a receiver or a running back and take off running down open field, that would be crazy. Bo Nix is a dual threat quarterback, dude. And people say white people can't run. Bro, what are you talking about? Bo Nix is a freaking demolisher. He is torching secondaries. Don't even get me started on the Detroit Lions, man. The Detroit Lions are looking phenomenal. I believe they're 5-2, if not 6-2. They're looking amazing. Most of these teams that are high in wins and low in losses, they are looking phenomenal. And I'll come out and say that. Seattle, you got freaking – the Vikings could be playing better. but you can't change it. But yeah, man, this is all I wanted to talk to y'all about tonight. All I gotta say is let's go Broncos. Let's continue that win streak. Good luck to all the other teams out there this week coming up. And this is your boy YBK Brandon signing